I thought I looked pretty fly today. I got a thrifted jacket, but this guy is putting me to shame right now. Again, representing Travelers, he is their technical director of transportation, Mr. Mike Fackler. Mike, you are now on What the Truck. What's going on, sir? How are you? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. It's good to be here.
Good to have you, man. Thank you so much for being on the show, and I'm excited to jump in this with you because with April being Distracted Driver Awareness Month, this is a great time to talk about what's really happening out there on the roads and what fleets can actually do about it. Mike, you work closely with transportation leaders on safety, culture, and risk. Talk to me. Where do we get started with this?
Yeah, well, distracted driving is it's one of the biggest challenges that we face.
Of course.
And you don't have to drive very far. You go down the road and you look to your left, you look to the right, you see people on their phones or distracted. And so, the reality is, this isn't going away. And if anything, again, like I said, there are more distractions now than ever.
There definitely is. I mean, obviously the biggest one, the biggest one is going to be phones. But is there anything else that kind of jumps off the page immediately when you think about the distractions that happen when it comes to trucking specifically that you can share with myself and our audience?
Oh well, I mean, it's a when you think about distractions in it as a whole, it's much bigger than just a driver problem. It's a and you think about all the responsibilities, all the things that drivers are trying to balance. Tight schedules, communication demands. They've got multiple responsibilities. They're trying to juggle all these things at once, and they're trying to get to where they're going and trying to get there safely. And so it's there's just so many things that are going on, and it's not just a problem for the driver to solve. We see it as a leadership and a culture problem. And so leaders of an organization, they can't just say that drivers shouldn't be distracted and leave it at that. Actually, leaders of an organization, we create what actually happens. I mean, we have influence over things that happen. And so the things that, when an accident happens, people always point to the things that drivers should have done or
Right.
could have done differently, and if they were distracted. But the distraction is just a symptom of a bigger issue. And if we want to address distracted driving, we have to step back and ask ourselves, what kind of culture are we building, and what behaviors are we reinforcing every single day?
Could not agree more with you. I think leadership is paramount when it comes to that. And let's kind of stay here for a second because you've mentioned it and touched on it, but really, what does good leadership actually look like when it comes to preventing distracted driving, all the way from the top of these, massive organizations to the driver that, just started 2 weeks or somebody who's not necessarily established as they should be.
That's a conversation we have with a lot of our insureds and and people in the industry is how, what do we do? How can we respond to this challenge? And organizations are not powerless. And our messaging, our approach always starts with accountability. It has to start with accountability, and accountability applies to everyone. We're talking about not just the driver, everyone. And leaders really set that tone. They're responsible for setting the tone. And knowing that and I think there's a difference between that knowing distracted driving is a problem and then actually doing something about it are two different things. And awareness is only the starting point. And so organizations that have clear policies, consistent enforcement, leadership that models the right behavior are the ones that actually move the needle in this regard. And so, if leaders are taking calls while driving, they're texting quick updates from the road, they're joining meetings while behind the wheel, you know, it's those decisions that build your culture, and it's in those small everyday decisions that your kind of culture gets locked in. And so as in response to that, leaders should look towards what expectations are they setting, and they should
Mm.
communicate those expectations clearly. And I think too that it's not just walk talk the talk, but also walk the walk and model the behavior yourself, and hold everyone accountable, including yourself, to the same standards. No exceptions.
No, no, let's I absolutely love that no exceptions piece. Because in trucking, as you know, and we've been around for quite some time, there's always pressure, deadlines, and good drivers who have been, with you a long time, have clean records, operational demands. Now, question for you is, how do companies truly balance that no exception with the things that I just kind of conveyed to you?
I had a football coach that told me, he said, accountability is the ultimate form of leadership.
Yeah.
And, expectations, they cannot be implied, and they cannot only be spoken, just like we said. And so, failing to take action also sends its own message. And so if leaders don't address, instances of distracted driving, if employees, if there's different rules for different drivers, then you know employees will, they pick up on that. They're smart people. And so when you have an organization that lacks a clear, I guess, strategy and clear policies around and what the expectations are around distracted driving, um, then without that, you're effectively telling drivers that staying connected and staying distracted is more important than staying safe. And so, you know, regardless of who it is,
No, duh.
and again, we hear, oh, this is my best driver, whatever. But leaders should say, hey, I'll call you back when I'm parked. Leaders should, instead of responding, in the moment. And again, you can't have different roles for different people, because when you do that, things start to break down, and you can't make an exception and say, well, again, this is one of our best drivers. So allowing employees off the hook, failing to enforce your expectations, that's what undermines your safety culture, and that's what leads to the problems that we see. And again, just plain and simple, you can't have different rules for different people.
Could not agree more with you, Mike. That football coach that shared that insight with you, it's definitely worked out for you and the things that you're doing at Travelers. So tell coach if you still have that relationship with him that he's done you good. All right.
Yeah.
Any final words or things of advice that you want to convey with our audience from not only yourself but the team at Travelers and things that you guys are currently working on as well, Mike.
Well, I think that it's important to keep in mind here that the goal isn't to eliminate every single mistake,
Right.
but it's to build culture over time, and it's in trying to enforce those expectations that we do the right thing even when no one's watching. And it's not one single incident that defines an organization, but it's the thousands of small decisions that happen up before it. And so, again, I think we just companies need to ask themselves, do we have clear policies around distracted driving? Are the expectations communicated, and are they reinforced consistently? And also, too, is leadership actively involved?
I think that is great words of advice. Again, representing Travelers as their technical director of transportation, Mr. Mike Fackler. Mike, thank you so much for hopping on the show. I saw a what was that, a EKU and a Louisville Cardinal behind you, so
Yeah,
that's
man.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So that's where I pay tuition to. So,
As long as it's not to the
okay. So
as long as it's not to the University of Kentucky, I'm a Tennessee ball. We're gonna have some words. So,
there you go. There you go. Like, we share
uh,
that. We share that. So
awesome, awesome. Well, Mike, thanks so much for being on the show. Looking forward to having you back next time. You did great.
thank you, Malcolm. Have a good one.
You, sir. You as well. You as well.